The mix of salty sea air and burnt rubber. The big skies, high banks, and grandstands. The rumble in your chest. That's what we love about the Daytona 500. Honoring history and making it. At the biggest race of the year on the biggest stage of a lifetime. That's what we love about the Daytona 500. You gotta see it to believe it. Secure your experience now at Daytona500.com.
Roll Tide and welcome to this Thursday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover, actually still with you from Chicago as the Crimson Tide men's basketball team makes their way back home to the Yellowhammer State today after last night picking up a thrilling win against Illinois at the United Center. 90-86 the final score. What a victory for Nate Oates and the Alabama Crimson Tide. We're going to be talking mostly football on this show, though, as we start to get into our headlines, plus what's coming up on the show, thanks to our friends RJ Young, the official technology solutions provider of Crimson Drive. Let's see what's coming up on the show this afternoon. Well, we'll have a one-on-one conversation with QB Reese, outstanding young Crimson Tide linebacker who really stepped up at the end of the South Carolina game with a critical tackle on special teams, and he's been seeing his name called more and more as the season's gone along. We chat with QB Reese from the Advantage Center to begin our show, and then we learn more about this week's opponent for Alabama football, Eastern Illinois, with their radio broadcaster Mike Brad with the other booth presented by Marathon. Then we'll round out the show with the final word of the night from DeBoer from last night's fun episode of Hey Coach and the DeBoer Show presented by Alpha Insurance at Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa. Crimson Tide football team, a tough loss last week against Oklahoma, but looking to bounce back coming up this week against Eastern Illinois. 1 p.m. will be the kickoff of that game. Our radio coverage will start at 10 a.m. at Vector Security Champions Lane. First time Alabama's ever squared off against Eastern Illinois out of the Ohio Valley Conference. It will be Senior Day 2025. So many outstanding players will be recognized with their families on field with Coach DeBoer. And also, tip of the cap to our guest last night on Hey Coach and the DeBoer Show. Offensive lineman Caden Proctor. He has been named a semifinalist for the Outland Trophy to the nation's outstanding lineman, and we certainly would love to see him capture that hardware as he puts together a very memorable 2025 season. Speaking of great memories, it was awesome last night being here in Chicago for that men's basketball win against Illinois. 90-86 the final score. Another huge performance by LeBaron Philon. And how about Keaton Bristow as well? He gets the game-ending final rebound. That was fitting with how well he played in his first game, healthy and available for the Crimson Tide here in the regular season. Huge win for Alabama, the second top 10 win in an NBA arena already this season. Going back to the St. John's win in Madison Square Garden, this has been a special stretch for Alabama basketball. A tough stretch. You have, of course, the loss sandwiched in against number 2 Purdue as well, but this is a good basketball team. Alabama continues racking up victories and hopefully more wins to come in Las Vegas next week for the Players Era Festival. We know on Monday, Alabama will take on Gonzaga, Tuesday against UNLV, and then we'll see about who Alabama faces on the other side of the bracket in Game 3 in Las Vegas. But what a tournament coming up in Las Vegas for the Crimson Tide men's basketball team. For the women's basketball team, Christy Curry makes it a perfect 5-0 during this opening homestand at home, defeating Samford 84-45, the final score at Coleman Coliseum last night. And what was a homecoming game in many ways, Samford coming, of course, from nearby Homewood, but they're led by Matt Wise, who used to be an assistant coach for Alabama, and also a former Crimson Tide point guard, Hannah Barber, is now an assistant coach at Samford. Even one of her teammates played in the game, Carly Weathers, last night. Incredible to see that for Alabama women's basketball as the Crimson Tide get another win, and now they're going to the Bahamas. It's a Baha Mar resort, getting set for the Pink Flamingo Championship. We wish them all the best, and hopefully more wins on the way for Christy Curry and the Crimson Tide. Same can be said for Wes Hart and the soccer team. NCAA tournament second round is coming up in Palo Alto, California, Friday at number 1 seed Stanford. Crimson Tide got that penalty kick, a shootout win last week against Northwestern. Now have to take on one of the nation's best teams, the ACC regular season and tournament champion, Stanford Cardinal, again 9 p.m. There will be coverage available. More details, rolltide.com. For the volleyball team, check out the SEC Network for the SEC Tournament. Alabama against South Carolina coming up on Friday at 1 o'clock as the SEC Tournament is back for the first time in over 20 years. And it comes to you from Savannah, Georgia. Best of luck to Coach Reed and the Crimson Tide volleyball team. And also coming up this week, it is time for our last time together in Tuscaloosa for the final home game of the regular season. And that means it's the final time we'll be outside at Vector Security Champions Lane, which will open at 9 o'clock. That's when Legends Lounge will open. The best beer garden you'll find around Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Never a cover charge in there. And again, the festivities will start there coming up at 9 o'clock. Our radio coverage on stage at Bud Light Backyard will begin at 10 a.m., followed by a pregame performance by Smith Distillery, rocking the stage, getting you ready for Alabama and Eastern Illinois. We'll have some food trucks available there as well, some student athletes signing autographs, as well as some members of the baseball and softball teams will be in the Vector Security meet and greet tent coming up as well. So fun atmosphere coming up. More details, you can find this map if you want to save it online at championslane.com. It's hard to believe this the last time we'll be at Champions Lane this season, but who knows? If Alabama's back here for the playoff, we could have fun once again outside in Tuscaloosa. Well, QB Reese has been having fun being a playmaker for the Crimson Tide, a popular name that we got to know during the recruiting process, and now somebody that is really making a mark for Alabama, especially on special teams, and especially at the end of the South Carolina game. QB joined us to talk about that, plus more about his journey from Alabama of course, here in state in Birmingham to the Crimson Tide, even maybe some Auburn bloodlines. So we'll talk about that coming up as QB Reese is our guest here on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Roll Tide, welcome back to Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover. Great to be with you at Saban Field, Bryant-Denny Stadium. We're at our podcast studio inside the LLH Healthcare Advantage Center, and I'm joined now by QB Reese, redshirt freshman linebacker for the Crimson Tide, who had one of the plays of the game against South Carolina to close out October. QB, first of all, thank you, man. Roll Tide, how's the season going as you join us today?
Appreciate you. Roll Tide.
We're certainly glad to have you here, and let's first of all talk about that game-ending play you had against South Carolina on the kickoff. Great coverage from you downfield. Just walk us through it.
Well, we know that Coach Nunez said that we're going to do a squib kick, so I'm saying in the huddle, they got to take it out now. So I knew one of us had to make the play, and when the time came, just had to make my play, and yeah.
And delivered a hard hit, pinned South Carolina deep in their own territory as they got ready for their final chance against Alabama. Just tell us about the elation of that team winning that ball game on the road.
Well, we know Coach Womack always says no matter what goes on, we know we have the confidence to know that we're going to win the game no matter what. So, and we're able to fight through hard times and know that we got each other back at all times. So we know that we're going to come out with the win because our preparation, what we put in each and every day at practice.
It really was great to see. And how's this group really gelled together as the season's gone along and developed that competitive mindset?
Man, this started since the first day of winter workouts. And we know we're on a journey right now, and we just kind of go 1-0 each and every day to get to our journey and our goal.
Who have been some of the leaders that have helped you as one of the younger players on the team?
I'll say D-Law, JJ Nakai, Tim Keenan. I feel like those guys are really just great big brothers to me and just showing me in the right steps the way that I need to work in order to be who I need to be in life.
We talk about your big tackle at the end of the South Carolina game. How about some of those leaders, D-Law and Tim Keenan, getting that fumble on Lenore Sellers? I mean, that was, again, one of the huge plays of that game. Man, and the crazy thing, I told D-Law, the time's going to come. I was like, I feel it, D-Law, I feel it. And if you really look at the film, D-Law's punching at the ball almost every time that he's getting a tackle. So our coach always said it takes 100 just to get one, and the one was the one we needed. And yeah. Is that just part of the Swarm D mindset you guys play with?
Yeah, every day before practice, we always have a turnover circuit, and we're getting the ball out, catching interceptions, punching at the ball, and things that you do in practice are going to correlate into the game. So, yeah.
Well, as you played more this season as a redshirt freshman, just what can you tell us about the hard work you've put in to be able to contribute, especially on special teams?
I would just say putting the work in the offseason is going to show out in the regular season during the fall camp, and just got to keep going each and every step and just keep going each and every week, each and every day in order to get to where I need to be and the best player I can be for the team.
And special teams, such a huge part of what we do each and every Saturday. What can you tell us about Coach Nunez?
Coach Nunez, that's my dog. He's always there. He's always there. If I need to come to his office, if anybody needs to come to his office and just look at some clips so we can be ahead of schedule, he's always there for us. Always brings the energy each and every day. That's what I love about him.
Yeah, really a great member of this coaching staff. Coaching staff you got to meet just over a couple of years ago. Let's first of all talk about your journey to Alabama. You're from the state of Alabama, from Birmingham. Was this always the goal? Was this always the dream?
My dream was Auburn.
Seems like everyone we talked to this year, Auburn, Tennessee.
My dad played at Auburn, so I've always been an Auburn fan. But when the time came to decide where I wanted to go, I had to choose Alabama for sure.
And that's really cool. How did your dad influence you growing up? Did he get you in football pretty quick?
Actually, so my dad didn't want me and my brother to play football. Well, we played flag football until like third grade because everybody started moving to tackle football, and there wasn't gonna be no competition in flag anymore. So he always been our coach. So he's always been right by our side, helping us, giving us tips each and every day. We just work on shooting hands with him at home, just doing just little things just to get ahead of our age group and stuff like that. So yeah,
That's really cool. And especially competing with your brother. How much fun was that?
yeah, it's amazing. My brother's at Arkansas State right now, and my brother's probably my biggest rivalry, but also my biggest my partner in crime. No matter what, we always getting each other better. We always talking trash to each other, just bringing each other up in the best ways, most positive ways we can.
You keeping up with those games as much as you can?
Oh
How's he
yes,
doing?
sir. Yes, sir. He's doing pretty good. He's a freshman right now at Arkansas State. He's getting some burning on defenses. So, as a freshman, true freshman, getting burned on defense, you can't really complain about that.
Absolutely. So the Reese family, of course, from Birmingham, Ramsey High School. You probably knew the Keenans at some point. When did you first meet those guys and get to play alongside them?
So I've been knowing Tim and his brother Cam probably since I was like 5, 6 years old, and we always played. I never played against Tim, but I played against his brother Cam. And me and Tim actually played when I was a freshman. He was a senior in high school, and we went 13-1. We lost in the semifinals against Pleasant Grove. So yeah,
What did you love about high school football?
I just feel like the coaches, brotherhood, just being around your friends all the time, just be able to have fun and play ball, kind of how it is now, for real.
And especially in that Birmingham area, so much bragging rights all the
it
time.
is.
I mean, going around to different spots and winning
Yeah.
had to be pretty cool.
Yeah, most definitely.
Well, then recruiting, I'm sure, happens once you start putting up the numbers. What was recruiting like for you?
My recruiting kind of started off a little slow, I'll say. I got my first offer in April of my sophomore year, but I didn't get any more offers until my third or fourth game during my junior year. And I really didn't have any Power 5 or Power 4 now offers until I got Alabama. And that was the summer of my junior year going into my senior year. So, yeah.
What do you think was the difference when schools were looking at you, especially Alabama?
I feel like my size was played a big role in it, but I just kept my head down and continued to work. I didn't really let it get to me, just play ball and control what I controlled at all times. So,
And then what was it about Alabama you liked so much?
I feel like, so Saban gave me an offer. So I feel like just knowing that I've been recruited by Coach Saban and just being at the best place, this is the place that everyone wants to be at. So I'll just say my relationships with my coaches and stuff like that played a big role in it.
Did you come down to Tuscaloosa a lot during high
Yes,
school?
sir. Yeah, most definitely.
And you got to see everything, and I'm sure your dad got to see everything too.
Yeah.
Again, did it
Yeah.
take much convincing once you got ready for signing day with him? Or?
My dad really wanted the best for me. It wasn't like a convincing thing to where I need to go where he wants to go. He wanted the best for me, and that's how it has always been in my life. So, yeah.
Great decision you made coming to here
Most
to
definitely.
Alabama. And then I imagine everything was a whirlwind that first spring with Coach Saban retiring, Coach DeBoer coming in. How'd you handle all that?
So I didn't come in the spring. I came in the summertime. So, but still, just knowing that Coach Saban retired, and thinking like I'm going to be playing under him was just a crazy transition. Just especially me not knowing Coach DeBoer a lot. But once I started taking more visits during the springtime, because I was still in high school, and getting to know him and Coach Chuck and Coach Womack, it became like family.
That's really good. What did they kind of sell you on about your opportunity at Alabama once they took the job?
Just making sure that I'm still welcome here, because you never know with some coaching staffs, they might not take your scholarship depending on who they want and stuff like that. So, just making sure that I'm known that I'm welcome to my program.
So you joined the Crimson Tide in the summer, and you get ready for that fall redshirt season for you. What do you feel like you learned the most from being around this program last year?
I feel like I just learned patience. I've never really had to wait my turn, and I'm technically still doing that now, but I've haven't learned patience and just learning each and every step from people in front of me, just Jihad with that group, D-Law, Malachi, Tim as well, just Q Robinson. I've really have learned so much from them, just their leadership roles and things that they do each and every day. I've really adapted those into my life and stuff like that.
And then you mentioned really started winter workous, getting ready for this season. Just
Yeah.
how competitive were those workout
Man,
times and all the conditioning work you all do?
every day is a grind, and it's like it's nonstop. Coach Blue always has us right, and we're competing with each other each and every day. We want to be the best, and so we are competing with each other to beat each other out. But we know we're also competing with everybody else in the country. So yeah, it's a grind for sure.
And everyone's after you. I mean,
Yep.
you're Alabama. You're the biggest game on the schedule. I'm sure you've seen that in the last
Yep.
few weeks.
Most definitely.
What do you like that mentality, getting to play on the road?
Oh yeah, I love the road. I feel like I was talking to my mom. I was like, I think I like road games the best. Just coming out and all the boo boo. I love and just be able to conquer their stadium, just see their faces at the end. That's what I love the most.
And it's also a lot of fun when you win here at home in Tuscaloosa,
Most
especially a win against Tennessee. How much fun was the cigar celebration?
It was great. It was great.
That's awesome. So you got to be part of a lot of great things in your Alabama career. What do you think are some of the next steps for you as you continue going on this journey?
Just what we're chasing for. We're chasing for this ring, yeah. But we gotta, in order to get this ring, we have to go 1-0 each and every day. We have to do our job each and every day. We can't look forward to the January 19th. We have to keep going each and every day in order to get to where we want to be. So yeah.
And again, that's the end goal of national championship here
Most
at
definitely.
Alabama. For you, what's been your individual journey like in the classroom or away from football? What should we know about you?
I'm really just a chill guy. I love hanging out with my teammates. Play the game all the time. I'm a TikToker. I hit some TikToks. But I just stay to myself. Not too out and about. Just live in the moment.
It's a great to have your family so close by.
Yeah,
able
most
to watch all your
definitely.
games. So.
Yeah, even when we go away, they find a way, and they have to split up each and every week because me and my brother. But it's a blessing being able to have my family being there each and every game. So yeah,
Is that game at Jordan-Hare going to be pretty special?
most definitely. I'm pretty sure both of them going to want to come to that game for sure.
Well, we'll look forward to that later in the year. QB, just congratulations on that great play, getting that game-ending tackle on the kickoff against South Carolina. Just all the best with what's ahead for you this year. Thank you, Roll Tide.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Roll Tide.
This isn't just a race, it's the race. 500 miles of glory, a million memories, one place. That's what we love about the Daytona 500. You gotta see it to believe it. Secure your experience now at Daytona500.com.
Appreciate the time to QB Reese. Can't wait to see him make more great plays for the Crimson Tide coming up in the near future. Coming up on Saturday, we'll visit with Mike Brad, of course, the radio broadcaster of Eastern Illinois, and he joins us now to break down the Panthers and this first ever meeting between the Crimson Tide and Eastern Illinois in football. Mike is somebody that's called play-by-play for some future NFL quarterbacks like Tony Romo and Jimmy Garoppolo. It's fun to catch up with Mike Brad and learn more about this Eastern Illinois team with The Other Booth, presented by Marathon. Mike, thank you so much for your time. Just how excited is everybody for this opportunity to see the Panthers take on the Crimson Tide?
It's a pretty big deal, I think, for Eastern fans. I've not played a team ranked this high in quite a while, and of course, Alabama, big name, and Eastern's kind of a small school, so this is a new deal. It's not been a great season for the Panthers, but it's an exciting game to wrap up with.
Absolutely. And talk us through this season so far. We know 3 wins and 8 losses, but what are some of the stories? What should we know about this football team?
It's a pretty inexperienced team, had 52 new players to start the year, a lot of new guys in the starting lineup. Was going pretty good, really, for the first half of the season. But in the second half, the offense has really faltered. They're only averaging 13 points a game in the last half of the season. The defense has been relatively solid a lot of the time, but they've had a tendency to give up big plays, and that has hurt them in several games. That seems to be kind of an on and off again thing. So they've lost 6 straight. That's pretty disappointing. 2 of those games, they had a last-second field goal attempt that would have won the game and missed it both times. So they've been close a couple of times, but overall pretty disappointing.
There's only one name on this roster that stands out, and that is Juwan Nixon. Of course, from Tuscaloosa, he gets to come home. How special is it to have an opportunity like this for him as he's having a solid season for you?
Yeah, he's having a really good season. He's a transfer in his first year at Eastern. He's tied for the team lead in tackles. He's tied for second in the conference in tackles. He and the other linebacker, Tylen Foster, both transfers, have come in to lead the team in tackles. The defense, despite the big plays, has improved over last year, and those 2 guys are a big reason for that. They've really come in and done a good job, and I'm sure he's excited to get back home to play.
It'll certainly be exciting. So that's a look at the defense. So who are some of the key playmakers we need to know about on this Panther offense?
They probably don't. A lack of playmakers is part of the problem. That's one of the reasons they've faltered. Their best receiver, Cooper Willman, is out with an injury the last 3 games, so he won't be able to play. The running back, Charles Kellum, is a solid player. He's not really a breakaway threat, but he's been good for Eastern, pretty consistent, carries the ball a lot. They've played 2 quarterbacks. Cole LaCrue is a transfer from Wisconsin, and then Connor Wolf is a redshirt freshman who was the scout team quarterback at Eastern last year. Neither one had taken a snap in college football when the year started. So there have been some growing pains there. Wolf is the better passer. He's been hurt a lot, though, during the second half of the year and been pretty limited on when he can play, although he did play a lot last week. LaCrue is the better runner. He has gotten better passing, but they've had difficulty generating a consistent passing game with him. So the defenses have loaded the box to stop the run, made Eastern try to throw the ball, and they've just not been consistent enough to do that. And they've also had a lot of trouble scoring inside the red zone. They get in the red zone and have had to settle for field goals way too many times.
So now it's Eastern Illinois getting ready to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. And just what can you tell us about this program over the years and some matchups like this going up against Power 4 schools?
Eastern's got a lot of football tradition going back really to about 1979. They've been consistently good, been to the playoffs in FCS more than a dozen times during that period. They've had some pretty big name people play, particularly quarterback here, starting with Sean Payton in the middle 80s, a record-setting quarterback at Eastern. Tony Romo came along in the early 2000s, and then Jimmy Garoppolo in about 10 years later reset most of the passing records. And Mike Shanahan didn't play very much football at Eastern, but he's an EIU grad and went on, obviously, to have a legendary coaching career. They have typically played an FBS team most years, sometimes a couple a year. Rarely probably never a program like Alabama, except maybe they played Penn State about 15 years ago. That would be the only probably similar one. But for instance, last year they played Illinois and Northwestern. So these players have some experience playing against FBS programs, but not in the sort of atmosphere they'll see Saturday.
And of course, you've been the voice of the Panthers for a lot of that great history, and that includes just over 10 years ago when somebody named Kane Womack was roaming the sidelines for Eastern Illinois. What can you tell us about his time as the EIU defensive coordinator?
Kane did a good job at Eastern. He came in as defensive coordinator in 2014. He was a young coach at the time. EIU had hired a brand new head coach, Kim Dambrin, who had a connection with Kane and his dad. And so Kane became the defensive coordinator. It was kind of, I think, his first time as a coordinator. Did a really good job, and then moved on from Eastern to, bigger and better jobs, ultimately becoming South Alabama head coach, and now where he's the DC at Alabama. But Eastern, I think, was kind of his first chance to be a coordinator, and he really did well with it.
And also a connection to Ty Simpson as well. You've gotten to see his dad, of course, Jason Simpson, the head coach of UT Martin throughout the years.
Yeah, Jason Simpson, Ty's dad, has been the head coach at UT Martin 20 years. Eastern has played him all of those years. They've been pretty big rivals in the Ohio Valley Conference. We had heard of Ty back when he was about a freshman in high school about this, that Jason had a son that was this quarterback phenom, and he was getting all these big offers. And I assume maybe he would, maybe go struggle someplace and come back and be the UT Martin quarterback. So we're glad that didn't happen, but they have to play against him anyway. And he's got a younger brother who's there now, Graham, only a sophomore, who may be just as good. So watch out.
Yeah, just little guys on the sidelines you've probably seen before. Now you get to see them in a game like this. Certainly exciting. Well, Mike, safe travels for you, all the Eastern Illinois fans, Tuscaloosa this weekend, and can't wait to have you for the game. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Thank you again for your time.
Great, Roger. Thank you.
Appreciate Mike and his time. Look forward to seeing him and everybody from Eastern Illinois on Saturday for football between Alabama and Eastern Illinois. That's where we start our upcoming schedule. Football takes center focus as we get ready for what's ahead over the next few days. Well, it will be a 10 a.m. airtime for our coverage starting outside of Vector Security Champions Lane, and then it's Alabama against Eastern Illinois at 1 o'clock. Of course, you can listen on our full radio network, Varsity Network app. Make sure you watch the booth cam as well, presented by Regions Bank, streaming live as always on all of our social media platforms. Sunday, Coach Kalen DeBoer will talk about the game with Chris Stewart for the Kalen DeBoer television show to our TV affiliates across the state, available on demand, RollTide.com. And then Monday, Crimson Tide Rewind, as well as men's and women's basketball. Men's basketball against Gonzaga, women's basketball against Harvard, as the men's basketball team's in Las Vegas, the women's basketball team in the Bahamas. A very busy and fun stretch coming up next week for Feast Week basketball, plus Iron Bowl prep. We'll talk more about that coming up. Crimson Tide Rewind also on Monday night with Todd Robbins and Tyler Watts coming your way from Baumhauer's in Vestavia Hills. But it's an exciting time here at the Capstone with what's coming up right before Thanksgiving, and that's our upcoming schedule. Make sure you follow us at UA_CTSN for the very latest on all things Alabama Crimson Tide sports. It's going to wrap up this edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Huge thank you to our guest, QB Reese and Mike Brad. Thanks as well to Ethan Carabin. While I've been away for a little bit with basketball, he is keeping everything together for us in Tuscaloosa, putting together this show. Ethan, the best in the business of putting together Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. As we say goodbye on this Thursday edition of the show, we will let you have the final word of the night from the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Kalen DeBoer. What a great show last night with Coach DeBoer, Chris Stewart, and Caden Proctor for Hey Coach and the Kalen DeBoer Show, presented by Alpha Insurance. And as we say goodbye, we'll give it over to the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Kalen DeBoer. Roll Tide.
Coach, time for the final word from you. It's presented by our friends at McCurry Van and Car Rental. What have you got for us?
Yeah, I think I go back to what we talked about right away, and that this is senior day. This is another day, game day in Tuscaloosa. And those are special days, and there's only so many of them every single year, and so I really encourage everyone to come out early because, within 15 minutes of the game, we're going to celebrate these guys one at a time real quick, get that taken care of. We'll head back to the locker room and be right back on the football field, but come celebrate with these guys. Come show your appreciation for the seniors and what they do, and obviously this whole football team, but another day in Bryant-Denny. Looking forward to it.
Kalen DeBoer, Caden Proctor, thanks so much for the time tonight, and we are looking forward to it.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
Appreciate you both very much.